scene is all about the sky, but sunset skies can be tricky in watercolor. With blues, yellows, oranges, and pinks and purples all coming together, the colors can turn muddy very quickly if the timing is not right. Hi, I'm Beatriz. Welcome back to the studio. For today's sunset path, I'm going to show you one of the methods that can be used to simplify this type of skies. For this painting, I pull ideas from a few different references, then brought them together and made the painting my own. Instead of painting this the traditional way, all in one wash, we're going to build it in stages. We're going to put one, let it dry, another layer, finally the clouds, etc. This way, we're going to have more control, and as a way to avoid the dreaded muddy colors. But we're going to continue to keep the drama and the energy of the painting. So what we're waiting for? Let's start. I'm starting by wetting my paper. This is basically a sky painting. Yes, they have a little bit of landscape to give it. Actually, it plays an important role. We will talk about it in a minute. But the sky is the big protagonist. So I'm going to put it wet on wet. The first color is going to be cobalt blue violet. And then to the cobalt blue violet, I'm bringing cobalt blue. The traditional way will be by putting a gradiator wash. By starting with one color and then go from more to less and then apply a second color over here. That's when a lot of people find themselves in a little bit of a struggle because the two colors like blue and yellow mix, you get a green and there's not such a thing as green sky. So that's when I developed this step by step where several steps, but you end up with a beautiful result. When everything is wet, let me go with another round of color. If you are interested in the Patreon pack where you can get the sketches and the final reference picture of this painting, among other things, and then is an open studio, and I'm gonna link it below. You can tilt this a little bit so some of these colors come down. And again, wet. This is my several steps. So what I mean by that is we're gonna do this one. We're gonna let it dry. We can bring it even a little bit lower. Then we will come with another step. I think that this is as far as I wanna go with this blue. So right now, I'm gonna collect all of this water. We're gonna let this dry naturally, meaning I'm not gonna use a hair dryer or nothing like that. First dry layer is what sets the foundation of the method. I know it doesn't look like nothing excited yet, but this is what gives us control over the colors. So by putting the blue and letting it dry, then next step we can come with the yellows and the oranges, etc. With confidence that they're not gonna turn green or anything weird like that. Our sky has dried beautifully, the first layer, so now it's time to put the second layer, the sunset. New gamboge, permanent rose, and this lovely rose doré are going to be the three colors that we're going to be used. So now we start with, this is very important, with a very soft brush. I'm using my silver black velvet 1 inch flat. We have to wet everything, not only the part where we're going to be painting, because if I only wet that, then I will have a hard edge. However, how we wet is important. I just dropping color in the place that I have paint. I am not rubbing, I just dropping it. And then once I get into the white part of the paper, I can go back and forth more and saturate the fibers a little bit more. Once it's wet, we start by applying at the bottom our brighter color, the yellow. It is okay if it goes a little bit into the greenery because this greenery will be darker. So let's just put it till around here. Keeping in mind that our watercolor dries lighter. Now I'm switching to the rose doré, which is kind of like a pink, but more on the kind of peachy, between pink and peach. So I'm making kind of like a bullseye of colors. That's what I'm making. Going from one to the middle to the more pink, in this case permanent rose. Colors always dry faster, so this has dry a little bit. Help yourself with a little bit of a spray bottle and then allow the blending to start happening. Tilt to one end. So go a little bit on an angle. Then see how it was coming? You don't want that into the blue. Go into the other angle. Got a little bit of a liner here. There it goes. Okay. Back and forth. Back and forth. Let them blend in the paper. Once again, there's a lot of water and there's, some of the colors are being diluted. That's okay. Everything is pretty wet, so bring some of my yellow back again. Some of the permanent rose. I don't need to use the rose doré this time. This is good. And by the way, the rose doré is optional because when the permanent rose and the yellow get together, that also gives those colors. I just have it, so I have a lot of water. I want some of the water because otherwise I won't do no blending, but not so much. So I'm coming with a thirsty brush and I'm picking some of that water out, especially for these angles. Do the same thing in this other end. Now I just go with my big brush, but less water, and then now I'm coming again. Or you can bring water all over again. However you feel more comfortable. Bringing water again is an insurance, if you will. Just I'll go a little lightly, no pressure. Then now I'm picking this color, and then I go into the opposite direction for a little bit, and then I have those two kind of blend. Let's see. Take some of this out so we don't keep bringing it. At this point, I'm getting ready to collect some of this water right here. Like I said, a little bit in this doesn't bother me. I'm working on 140-pound arches paper, so it has a little bit, it has buckle a little bit. It's okay, as long as I bring the color out, which is what I'm doing, so it doesn't collect in the buckle area. We should be okay. And at this point, just gonna bring it down to this edge. Pretty sure much. I think I'm gonna let it dry. While we allow this second layer to dry, and before we come for the third, I can go ahead and start applying some of the colors to start putting like another painting. I'm not doing it fully yet. Of these kind of hills and road and whatnot. And there is a sunset. There is the light is over there, so everything else is backlit, meaning the light is there, everything is darker. How dark we will have to go is gonna depend of once we put our clouds, how dark the sky looks. And for this road, I just come in with a yellow ochre. I have not rinsed my brush, so this yellow ochre has a little bit of the green that we were using. And again, just very loose because it's the underpainting. So for this method to work, there are two things that are important to keep in mind. One, we need to allow each layer to dry completely before we come out with the second one. The other is to use a good soft water holding brush so that it can glide over the paper. It doesn't need to be an expensive brush, but it has to be one that allows us to drop the water, not to drag the painting that is below. Cobalt blue violet, Windsor violet, and a cobalt blue. I'm mixing these three colors all together. You can lightly go with a pencil and mark where you're gonna put your dark clouds if you want to. And yes, once again, I'm gonna go ahead and wet the whole thing. And once again, I just drop the water. I am not pushing. The clouds are not here to cover the sunset. The clouds are here to give this sky more drama. So I drop it. And again, I am not rubbing, okay? Every time that we have a sunset, depends on what time you pick it, at the very beginning or later on, they got these dark clouds, meaning that the sun is hitting and I guess the night is approaching. I want to allow some of these in a few areas, some of the sun light to pick. Obviously not a whole lot, but some of it. Maybe we can put a few little, let's pick up more whips coming here and there before this dries. All right, breaking up, because usually they are not a solid mass. So this part over here, I love the pinks, so I want some of those to show. I'm gonna cover this part more. If it goes darker over here, I should go darker over here in the top. All right. And also, I hope you notice that my colors this time are thicker, and they are not full strength, but they are not as diluted as the first two times that we applied them. All right, so now I'm just gonna go ahead and finish this part over here. I like the fussiness. I like how the colors are separating. Let me see. This is still wet out there. I feel like I should put a couple more here and there. Okay, it's lovely. It continues to change in front of me as it's drying, so let it dry by itself. I love this sky. This sky has dried beautifully. Has a tiny little bit of wetness, but not much. But once again, we managed to put a painting into an art stage, because this is done and beautifully, and this is disjointed. So let's take care of that. Burnt sienna, and I'm gonna bring sap green. My sky is dry. I can go ahead and wet this time before I apply the color. So I wet everything, including the big bush. And then we're gonna go ahead and start bringing the color. As we darken everything, that sky is gonna start making more and more sense, because as we mentioned at one point, everything is backlight, meaning the light is there, so this has to be darker. And that's exactly what we start doing right now. Here on the edge, you can come with a little bit of orange or a little bit of bronze sienna or even permanent rose, just to have a tiny, nothing major, the reflection of some of that sunlight. We start bringing some onto the path as well. Don't overdo it, just a little. And yellow ochre, some yellow ochre, and some of these areas, browns, bronze siennas, and brown from my palette. Let's start bringing some of that. Because this is a country, a dirt road, then some greenery will grow in between it as well. All right, now back to this one, and we put it all together. It has dried beautifully. You see how I darken this? Now the painting starts to make more and more sense. That's lovely. We're gonna, the dark greens, perylene green with sap green. And we're gonna start putting like these bushes are growing. Do kind of like calligraphy, and that's kind of enough to give the impression of a bush that is backlighted. As I go farther away, my bushes are getting smaller and with less and less detail, because that's how we make the impression of depth. Instead of putting a bush, I'm gonna put, like if it is a tree, and the bushes underneath. That way we allow some of the sunset to peek through. Maybe we can have another one here. And now, before I put my dark bushes here, let's just put a couple darkened areas around here. This is olive green mixed with sap green. I go with that. I come with water. From this one, I put a little bit of that glow with the permanent rose and a little bit of the orange. Olive green with sap green, a little darkens here. We already established that this is backlit, and these are gonna be even darker. So this one's gonna be too pale. Darker, let's go with this one, a little bit darker here on the edge. The one that we've been using. And blend. And now we're gonna start putting the ones that are closer to us. Same mix, that I'm using over there. Well, let me do that something. Let me wet in a few places. We're gonna put it so that it shows that it's a heel. Okay. And then we blend. We will take care of this in a minute, but now we need to concentrate into doing these big bushes. Now I'm gonna come with the bigger of the two. It's kind of bushes at the bottom, but it's also like maybe some little trees growing. So let's just put some of that. I want to allow some of this green to show through. So one thing that I can do is I can put one big line, okay? One big line, one that is longer than the other, and then put with little dots around it. Few, maybe get more of the perylene green and some of these endings. Okay, the edge here is all dark. Alternate some of that, and then as I come over here, like it's grown more from the bottom, more on a semicircle. Here next to it, we have another bush, and I want to put it in a slanted motion so that it reads as a heel, obviously. So same thing. Some of them come up, and then we go from more to less. Some of perylene green. Thicker and darker at the bottom, and then lighter as it goes up. Have a blending brush, blend all these. Wet a little bit around here. Come with the olive green. Start making a few grasses. The impression of some grasses. Then back to these other colors, the darker ones, and then put some in between. I alternate in the darker colors and the olive greens. Put them in between them. Okay, I'm gonna start making some of this edge of the road and bring it up. I'm gonna bring some of the burnt umber. I'm gonna put some over here as well. I have another big bush here, and as you can see, putting all these darks is bringing the feeling of the sunset even more. So not a whole lot of detail, but I want that one to be farther away. So this one is gonna have to be taller than that one to bring it closer. This side here, I'm bringing more of the burnt umbers to kind of warming it up a little bit more. There is more of the sun hitting here. The big cloud, dark cloud is more on the left side, but that doesn't mean that we don't put greens. We have to come and bring them now. Alternate between the olive greens. These other ones here, they have a little of the perylene green and some of the browns. So as you can see, these darks are what is giving our painting contrast. The sky still is the main character, but without this, it will not make as much sense. And now we're gonna do the final thing, the path. So I love that glow. I'm leaving that alone. So coming with, I can darken a little bit of these greens here and there a little bit. Okay, so this is a dark path. So in some areas, I'm gonna have greenery coming. And others, I'm gonna come with the burnt umber, and it will be more that road and the hills meet, it will be darker. It will be a little bit darker as it gets away from the sun. Some of the browns, some of the greens. This path, although it's the quiet part of the whole composition, it does have an important role. Their job is to lead our eyes back into the sunset. So darken a few areas here and there. Then come with water, tap, tap, tap. Okay. We don't have that much more to do. Darken some of these. Water. I'm gonna make this turn a little bit more to here. And I'm pretty happy with it. So let's see. Tap, tap. I think that we can call this painting done. Here it is, the final painting of this glowing sunset. Yes, we accomplished this by going about it in a different way, but yeah, I think you can agree with me, the results are just as gorgeous. So now you got choices as to how to approach a sunset. If you like to paint alongside with me, the Paint Along pack is inside Open Studio on Patreon. I will link it below. Let me know in the comments if you're thinking about giving a chance to this new method. As always, I thank you for being here, and I will see you in the next one.